Hey everybody, it's Simon, and it's great to be speaking to you once again. And I wanted to reflect for a few moments on something that I am calling the politics of intolerance, or sort of a new version of an argument we've been making about the rise of the Southern strategy here over the last few years. And that's what happened this week, both with our remarkable president who ended his passionate speech about healthcare in that very elevated way that reminded all of us about one of the things that we felt so strongly about Barack Obama, which is that he could create this sort of safe space again, that this horrible polarization and angry politics that's existed in America for the last several generations, that we were moving to a new age, a more gentle and civil age, and one where there was safe space where we could come together to reasonably debate our problems. And that the kind of politics that we saw that was core to the foundation of the rise of the conservatives, one of the major pillars underneath the conservative movement for these last 30, 40 years has been intolerance, the inability to accept people not like them, that either you're with us or against us. And that exemplified perhaps more powerfully than anything else by the Southern strategy itself, which at the core of the Southern strategy, the strategy that the Republicans and conservatives used to gain political power in the United States, was the exploitation of racial fear, the demonization of the sociological other, which is something that we saw through things like Willie Horton and welfare queens and tax and spend and the recent fights over immigration. That we had a political party in the United States that rose to power largely, I think to a great degree, through the exploitation of racial fear during a time of tremendous racial and demographic change in the country. And I think what's exciting about the age of Obama is that we're coming out the other end of this politics, that we're coming to a new age, I think, where we're going to see more tolerance than intolerance. In fact, the intolerance we may see is of intolerance itself, and that people are growing intolerant of people who are unaccepting of people not like them. And it's why I think that after this summer of where we saw people bringing assault weapons to public debates, where we saw anger and incoherent nihilist rants replace civil discourse and being treated as a serious manifestation of a political party in the United States by the national media, what we've seen happen this week, I think exemplified and crystallized by this Joe Wilson moment, was sort of this fatigue and we've become tired and angry and intolerant of this kind of behavior in itself, because it isn't who we are. I mean, you could make the argument that the founding value of the United States was tolerance itself. It was people seeking religious freedom and moving away from the religious civil wars in Europe to a place where they could worship their God freely and build civil societies on their own without being commandeered by another side. And so I think the thing that I just want to end with on this Friday afternoon is this incredible hope that I have that we are actually coming out at the end of the other end of the Southern strategy, that we are growing more intolerant of intolerance, that Joe Wilson served this meaningful role to remind us of how tired we are of that kind of politics, which left our country less safe, less prosperous, less free, and less just, I think, which is really in many ways the great legacy of the conservative movement. And I think it's going to be important for us as progressives, liberals, and center-left, or whoever we are, to not allow the other side off the hook on this. The kind of politics that they practiced for so long was reprehensible. And it's not going to be enough just to pretend like it wasn't so. Is that I think it's something that we have to constantly remind the American people and fight against, because that politics isn't finished. That politics is still alive. The remnants of that old political order, the Southern strategy order, is still with us. And it's something that I think is of almost the highest moral obligation that we have, to defeat that kind of politics, to not in any way accommodate it as we go forward in this new age of Obama. Thank you for letting me rant and rave on this Friday afternoon. It's been a remarkable week. I'm incredibly proud of my president, and also grateful to Joe Wilson for reminding us about the part of America that we've grown so tired of. Thank you so much.